is a sauce that can be used thick and have as a dip. You can thin it out for pasta. You could use it on pizza as a base on pizza. What else could you do with it? You could layer it in lasagna. Like you could put it on grains. You could put it into steamed greens. It's just really, really beautiful and delicious. So the information is in the description of the video. And I have my small blender here, but I'm realizing I'm double batching and I should probably use the bigger one. So let's do that. So I'm going to get the camera going for you guys. So what I did first ahead of time, and I have to find the little piece to my blender. Ooh. One second. Darn. It's here somewhere. We'll get it in a second. So first I grilled the red peppers. I wanted to get the skins off of them. And so I put them under the broiler and just broiled them until they were all like bubbly and the skins had blackened. I don't even put oil on it. I just sprinkle with salt, get it under the broiler, let those red peppers like bubble, and I slice them first so that you don't have to turn them or anything. Just slice them off of the core or the stem and get the seeds out. And then once they're blackened, take them and put them in a bowl, or I like a bowl, and then cover with a plate. And then the steam will help release the skins. So that takes to broil them takes maybe like 10 to 12 minutes. And then to steam them another 10 to 15 minutes. And then you get these beautiful pieces of my dishwasher's gonna beep, of course, roasted red peppers, and some little pieces you still get a bit of skin on there, but it's not a big deal, right? So this is probably more than I need for the recipe, but I'm going to use them anyhow. Now, question is, I need the top to my blender. Hang on, guys. Okay. Oh, you're kidding me. What is going on? Oh my gosh. You know what happens? Other people put the dishes away. I think, come on, you can relate, right? So I have the blender, but I don't have this top part. And other people put the dishes away and then they just don't put it back together. So I'm like frantically looking for it now. I think that's it. This could be the best Facebook Live ever. Okay, so I'm going to use my smaller jar, and we'll see how that goes, guys. Pick up that apple that rolled off. I did all the produce washing before I started my video. I bet you'll find the top to it right when I'm done. Okay, so what we need is 1.5 cups of those roasted red peppers, and I really roughly measure that, okay? So this is how it goes. And the recipe, again, is on my site, dreenaburton.com. I've got the link there. And I call this Romesc-Oat Sauce because I'm really corny with my recipe names, as you know. So the traditional original recipe, the classic recipe, is called Romesc-Oat Sauce. And it's a red pepper sauce that's blended with toasted breadcrumbs. I think they're toasted, and with almonds and seasonings. So instead I use oats, and I toast the oats and I toast the almonds, but today I'm using a different nut, and it gives it a lot more flavor and also makes it gluten-free. So you can get gluten-free oats and make this sauce. And I kind of like the toasted oaty taste in it. So this is how I measure. I just kind of throw some in there. And again, it's not rocket science, right? Just, that's about a cup, boom. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need the bigger blender. Okay, one more look, guys. Or I put my hand over it and just hope it doesn't spill everywhere. Okay. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put the hand over it and hope it doesn't make a mess, because I definitely need the bigger blender. Okay, so we've got, that was 2 cups and 1 more cup. because it was 1.5 cups, and I'm doubling it because I want a lot of sauce because I will use it later. If there's extra sauce, I'll keep it and use it for pizzas or another dish. You know, like it never hurts to have extra, right? And I love it saucy anyways, like lots and lots of sauce. To me, that is always the best way to go. And we need a clove of garlic. So I'm going to get this down so you guys can see. A clove of garlic. Now, whether you want to use a big clove or a little clove is totally up to you. Keep in mind that this sauce is not getting cooked so much, right? It's going to be tossed into the pasta. It's going to be warmed, but it's not going to be really cooked. So those garlic cloves are going to be fairly raw. So I'm not going to use these 2 full cloves. Oh, that guy doesn't look the best. I'll get another one. I'm going to use 1 bigger one and a small one. That guy didn't look so lovely. Okay, and that's going in. And then I've got my oats. Okay, so I toasted the oats. Can you see that? They're a little bit golden. And you can do this in the food processor as well. In fact, in the recipe, I think that I have to do it in the food processor. But I love the blender. It just makes it much more smooth and silky. So let's get that in there. And I doubled that as well. And I'm choosing to use cashews today because I have a little sensitivity to almonds. So I also toasted up the cashews, and I do them on a parchment lined baking sheet. I do it in my toaster oven because it's faster. And you really got to watch nuts and the oats, especially nuts though, because these I turned off the oven, and even in the residual heat, they went really, really brown. They're not burned, but they went really brown. So you do have to not like leave it, right? Keep an eye on the nuts because they will go from golden to burned really quick. And once they're burned, you can't use them. There's no going back, right? So if you want to make this nut-free, actually in the recipe, I suggest that if you want a nut-free version, I have a different roasted red pepper dip that has tahini in it, and you can link over and do that one. So that's an option. Or you could maybe use sunflower seeds here. That would work pretty well, or a combination of sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds will make it a little bit darker, so I'd probably use a combination. And hi, I'm just reading A Taste of Health here. Yeah, I like the blender too. It does make it smoother. It totally makes it smoother. And guys, I've mentioned this in other videos that I've done with using the blender because, and I'm not trying to promote the blender all the time. It's just I use it that much. If you are wanting a high-speed blender, there's a code in the description. I've partnered with Blendtec. They're offering you, as my community, 20% off on Blendtec. And that can be for any accessory or any model, anything you want. Just use the code all in caps, yay-Blendtec. And that's there in the description. All right, so I'm going to blend that, but I also need a little bit of salt. And so we've got like a ½ teaspoon of salt. If you want to cut down the salt, go for it. That's totally, totally okay. Sometimes if you find recipes too salty and you're modifying to have reduced sodium. We also have some red wine vinegar in here, and this gives it, so this may seem like a strange addition, but it gives it that little hit of acid that kicks up the overall flavor. I think I have 1.5 tablespoons. Yes. So we're going to do 3 here to double. It's like it perks up the flavor really nicely. And then the very magical ingredient is smoked paprika. Oh my gosh, guys, are you using smoked paprika? Because it is one of the most amazing spices. Before, I never cared for paprika that much. I felt it was kind of like a flat flavor, didn't offer much, but really color and maybe a little bit of flavor. This is so good. And you can get it in most stores. I have a link there that you can look at it on Amazon as well. I go through a lot of this now. Ever since I discovered it, it's like a total game changer. It smells so good. So I actually only have an 1/8 of a teaspoon here. So I'm just going to round a 1/4 teaspoon because I know we love it. But it's not to make this sauce too smoky, right? I'm not using so much that it makes it really smoky flavor, but just like that background flavor. That's really nice. Hi, everyone, for joining in. Hi, Elizabeth. I'm glad to hear from you because, like I said, I'm using a different platform so that when I repost this on YouTube, people are telling me that the video and audio aren't in sync. And I'm seeing that as well, and it's really, really annoying. So I'm trying a different platform to see if it will change that. So now we're going to blend this up. Get this in the camera for you. Okay, and I have to cover it. Oh, here we go. Magic. Small top will cover it. Okay, so this is going to be noisy. That's so gorgeous already. I haven't added, oh, it smells so good. I haven't added any water to it because I know that it's going to get really smooth in the blender, and I have the vinegar in there. And what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of the juices from the peppers here now. The recipe does call for a little bit of water, but I'm just going to drain off those juices because guess what? They have flavor. And I want to add a little more pepper. I'm seeing that it's very creamy looking, like from the nuts and the oats, and I just want a little more pepper in there. So let's blend that again. Oh, and you could add black pepper to this as well. I wouldn't have looked for the top if I had figured out that little trick there. Oh, it smells amazing. Okay, guys, look at that. Look how smooth that is. So this consistency here is really nice for a dip. And when you chill this, because this is very warm, the blender has a lot of heat in it right now. You can see the steam coming off of it a little bit. This will thicken as it sits. So I wouldn't add any water to this to use it as a dip. It smells absolutely, I mean, I've got my nose in here. It smells so good. What I'm going to add is a little bit of fresh basil. That is not in the recipe, but I have some. I picked some up the other day. I just had this feeling like, I want some basil. I don't know why, but I feel like I want to have some fresh basil. And then it all made sense today when the peppers were on special. And I came through the checkout with a huge bag of them. And this recipe, I'd say I'd use probably, I'm doubling it. So I'd say I use like maybe 3 big bell peppers to double it. And then I have some extras left over, which is always nice to have extra bell peppers on hand because they're great for sandwiches or for like a bean salad or to put on, again, pizzas or to use as a topping for veggie burgers or use in another recipe, right? Like they're so flavorful and they won't go to waste. So all I'm going to do here is pulse this. I don't want to puree the basil all the way through. I just want to pulse it in so that it's incorporated, but you can see the flecks and it doesn't change the color of the dip or the pasta sauce, whichever you are making. So a little pulse. There we go. And let's get a spatula. Oh, that spatula is not looking very groovy anymore. There we go. There we go. So here's that gorgeous sauce with the flecks of basil. Does not look great. So I am using this for pasta. So what I plan to do, rather than thin it out now, is I'm going to cook the pasta, reserve a little bit of the pasta water, and then add it to the sauce as I'm mixing it through. Because perhaps I don't use it all and I want to keep the rest for a dip. So that way I don't dilute it now. I can dilute it with the pasta water as I'm cooking it, right? Isn't that gorgeous? Look at the color. And the toasted oats and nuts give it just more flavor. So if you add raw nuts, like it's still going to taste good, but toasting them just brings out more depth of flavor, and you can smell it. Like you can even just smell it in that sauce, how good it is. And I'm going to show you the pasta that I picked up because it looks awesome. Yeah, it's okay. I've been off the screen for a lot of this video. It's a sourdough pasta. So number one, I love the shape because it's funky. All right. It's got all those grooves, and that's going to hold the sauce really nicely. That's going to like catch all sauce and will taste delicious. But it's like a fermented, it's made with a sourdough culture. I don't know. So it was a bit pricey, but it's a big bag. And so this is more than a pound. Usually pasta is about a pound, and this is more. And it will make a really nice meal. And then what I plan to serve with it is some broiled asparagus. I picked up some asparagus as well. And then we're going to have the apple crisp for dessert. There's a whole post on vegan desserts for Easter on my site if you want to go check that one out. And be sure to check out this recipe. I hope you make it. I hope you try this one. Like I said, it's really versatile. The basil does not have to be in it. And if you want a nut-free option, there's a link in this roasted red pepper or the Romesc-Oat sauce for the roasted red pepper sauce that is nut-free. That was a mouthful. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoy the recipe. I will be back with something soon, and hopefully the audio worked better in this recipe than the other ones. Okay, happy Easter, happy weekend, enjoy great food, and sending you all blessings. Bye.